Hi, this is Callie from Justice Entertainment here with
Andrew
And Matt
you guys
from Eidola.
Right on. We're out here at the observatory in Orange County, Santa Ana, Orange County. And this is the last day of tour for you guys.
Yeah, very exciting. I think it's officially sold out. I believe
Yes,
so. So
yeah.
we sold out the main room, and then we opened up a couple more 100 more tickets for the balcony, and I believe that's sold out as well.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah, I think you guys sold out the main room like 2 days ago or something like that.
Yeah, it was I think it was last week was like the main room sellout, and then we opened up a couple more tickets like for the push, and then the balcony opened up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. Sweet. So you guys are hailing from Utah. How's that like coming from Utah over here to Southern California?
It's always fun. I always have a good time. The weather out here is great. The people are awesome. The food's good. But I love Utah. I always go back anywhere I move. I always come back to Utah. It's beautiful. It's a great place to live. It's really quiet. I like the woods. I like hiking and backpacking and all sorts of outdoor stuff. So it's definitely a place for me. Matt lives in Alaska now. So
Wow.
I do currently live in Anchorage. There's a lot of outdoor stuff there too. It's a little more dangerous.
Yeah.
much more wild. Yeah, we've been talking about doing some riding out in Alaska because that's the only state I haven't been to.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been everywhere else, but I have
wow.
not been to Alaska. So
That would be awesome.
yeah,
That'd be totally cool.
yeah, we're looking forward to it.
So, do you guys feel like where you come from has an influence on your albums, whether it be past or present?
Yeah, I would say so. For me personally, I grew up in a town called Payson, which is like a 9,000 person populous town, very small town.
Yeah.
A very Mormon LDS. I was like one of the only families that wasn't Mormon growing up, and so it was a very culturally different environment for me. And like God wasn't really a huge part of my life at that point. And then to have it become such a huge part of my life in the music and the theology and the history and the psychology that go into Eidola's music was I would say it's like a very culturally impactful situation. So like to take from where I grew up and put it into the music has definitely impacted me. What did you say?
I mean, we're all products of where we come from. So absolutely coming from I spent a lot of time growing up in Utah. So yeah, lots of influence there. Currently I'm influenced by living in Alaska, so yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have much else to add to what you already said.
That's a good answer. Yeah, that's a good answer. I was telling you before the interview started, like I lived in New York for about a year and I got a lot of inspiration for men living there. It was very, very enriching experience for me. So it's really, really cool.
That's awesome. I feel like you can get a bit of spirituality being out in nature and things like that. And when you come from a place that has that much richness in nature, I mean, it can really move you.
Yeah, it's beautiful. We try to. I haven't had a ton of time off from music, especially in the summer months in the last few years, because it's like mostly touring times.
Yeah,
like
you go with a couple bands, so
yeah. So I don't get to get in nature as much as I used to, or as much as I'd like, but I do try to carve out some time.
Right.
I have my dad lives in southern Utah too, so we go down there usually to visit and do the national parks, do Zion, Bryce Canyon. Yeah, get
That's
inspiration there too. It's beautiful.
That's awesome. Well, touching on Mend, we wanted to know, we know this is going to be a little bit more of a softer album than your current album right now. What inspired you to make such a balanced duo like that?
So the discography and the concept has always been this huge overarching theme. It's explored the human condition in a lot of various ways, in spirituality and theology. And I answered this at meet and greet earlier too, where when I came up with the concept and brought it to the band of the duality, right, which has always been a considerable theme throughout the discography, duality of mankind, this yin and yang situation. We really looked at our discography and tried to figure out what songs resonated the most with our fans. So we felt that it was kind of two categories. It was like songs like Mutual Fear and Caustic Prayer, these very heavy, chaotic, dissonant, angry songs, and then songs like Low Tie, Humble Ledger, Perennial Philosophy that had like a groove, and they had a ballad element, and there was a lot of melody, a lot of synth textures and piano. And so we're like, when I came to Matt with the concept, I said, what can we do to explore both of these themes kind of to the max? Like if we did a double album, right, and we split the duality into two, where there's a little bit of light in the dark and a little bit of dark in the light. And what does that sound like sonically? But what does that function like thematically and lyrically too?
Right.
And so with Eviscerate, we were like 7-string guitar. We tried new tools. We went with a death metal producer that was like worked with Chelsea Grin.
Nice.
Went with 7-string guitars and really violent, chaotic, angry themes. And then for Mend, we're like, let's work with more of a pop producer. Let's do synths and nylon string guitars and orchestral arrangements and tons of melody, and craft the lyrics around like celebration and finding your self-worth and confidence. And it's like uplifting, enlightenment, and camaraderie and hope and faith. And we wanted to just like explore those themes diametrically opposed and then still have a little taste. So like Mend, I don't know. I mean, would you classify it as soft? It's definitely softer. I don't know. How would you describe
the first demos you sent to me for sure, but then I heard some of the later ones that you wrote. And there's some bangers on there still. There's still some heavy songs on
there. That was one of the questions. Are we going to get a little turnaround where, we get a bit of a bulked up,
Yes,
like how you like to say it?
Yeah. So there's 2 songs in particular that are like if you loved Eviscerate and you hopped on with us there, you'll love those 2 tracks in particular for sure.
Nice.
If you only hopped on for the metalcore side, you probably aren't going to like most of the record. It just to be honest, you probably aren't going to like it. But unless your taste is eclectic and you like, I mean, there's some funky stuff, there's groovy stuff, there's really pretty ballads. There's a lot of, I don't want to say EDM, but there are like some electronic influenced. There's a song called Pearl in a Dead Sea that has this very like unique, Emotion Heap style vibe, like very melodic, tons of layers. Yeah, it's really cool. I'm really proud of it. I think we accomplished what we were after with it. So
there's a good mix on the album.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and then we have songs like there's a song called Kaleidoscope that it's heavy in a really unique ways to Eidola that like we're stacking like acoustic guitars and distorted guitars and like creating these compositions that are really uniquely manifesting. It's really cool. I'm super stoked on it.
Nice. Well, when are we going to expect the single for Mend?
That's a good question too. Right now, so if you've ever talked to me at VIPs, I've said this in interviews too, I hate the music industry with a passion. I love music. I love people. I hate the industry side of things with an unbridled passion.
They have a stop hold on certain things sometimes.
Yes, most of the time, especially with us. So We've had some butting heads in the industry with trying to get things out in the timeframes that we want. But as far as the schedule goes now, we're really hoping for a clearance for a release in December, which would mean that we would start rolling out singles, hopefully like August, September, October of this year.
Oh.
Yeah, well, so not August, sorry. So like September, October, November would be like a rollout for November. So I'm actually thinking probably closer to October, November, December. So like October sometime in there would be single 1, November would be single 2, and then when the album comes out in December, single 3 with the album. Kind of like how we did Eviscerate, where it was 2 months before, and then we'd put out Fistful of Hornets the day of the drop.
Yeah, that was my other question was how are the music videos looking? Is it going to be some beefy videos?
Yeah. So I actually, not a lot of people know, I came up with the treatments for all of those videos.
Oh, really?
Myself, yeah.
Nice,
so
like the color palette and everything?
Everything, yeah. Wow. Same thing with the color palette for this, for Eviscerate and for Mend. So Dan Schaub did the artwork, did the masks, incredible artist, absolutely phenomenal. I gave him like some themes and some colors that I wanted to work with, and he just ran with it and did an amazing job. And then for the music videos for Eviscerate, I had come up with these 3 distinct themes and treatments and wrote them out, and I had some other people help me with workshopping them. I had Brian Caudill from Black Box Studios in Vegas, Mason Wright, DC, And then Matt Cole and Paris that are our like main content people. Like Paris is out with us on this tour. Phenomenal brains, very visual. I'm not super visually minded when it comes to like execution. Like I don't know shit about cameras. Like, I don't know anything about cameras. I can do audio all day. But those people can take my vision and execute it, right? It's like Quentin Tarantino probably doesn't know shit about cameras, but he knows how to make a good movie, right? And so for me, I just had this vision of like how I wanted these aesthetics to play out. And there was some doubt in the video, like the Fistful of Hornets video. They're like, beekeeper outfits? What the fuck are you?
We all want to know. What is that thing you're holding?
It's literally a beekeeper tool.
It's like a little scraper.
It's a tool. So it's used to like scrape through the honey.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So I had no idea what it was either, but it came with one of the beekeeper outfits, and I looked it up, and I was like, can I use this as a microphone? They're like, sure, go for it. Yeah, it's like a beekeeper tool. So yeah, we ran with it. It was super fun. We found that cool. like LED wall in Vegas. It was actually at a building that Shaquille O'Neal owns. It's like a fun house in Vegas.
What?
And so we rented the room and like put that up on LED. It was really cool.
That's awesome.
That was a fun video.
It was super fun. Yeah. The no weapon video was much more of a challenge. We didn't have a stunt coordinator or anything, and a lot of people don't know this either, but I actually spent I spent 8 hours filming the sword fighting scene the first time that we filmed the video, and I had to be wet the entire time because in the video I like show up, I get pulled underwater, and I show up and I'm wet.
Yeah.
So Brian is spraying me with a water bottle the entire time to keep me wet as I'm doing the sword fighting scenes
for 8 hours.
8 hours, and it's cold as shit. Like I'm shirtless, I'm freezing cold. 8 hours of shooting. We came to find out that they had like an incident with one of their hard drives, and the footage was corrupt.
Oh, no.
So
that's
we
why
had
you should have multiple stuff,
right?
Yeah.
So we had to go and refilm that entire day. So it was another 8 hours of like just getting sprayed like a cat, like just like I mean, you saw it. It was fucking ridiculous, bro. I'm like, I'm not even a sword fighter. I'm a singer. We're like, what the fuck? It was insane. So it was worth it because the visual was really cool.
Yeah.
We're stoked on how it turned out, but I would not do that again. Yeah. It was
like it's
physically taxing.
Yeah, it's probably more physically taxing than being in the studio.
Totally, 100%. I could sing all day, but when it comes to that, it was rough. But yeah, we have some video treatments. We can divulge there's going to be a part 2 to the heist video.
Nice.
So there's a song called Empire of Light that we're doing like a part 2 to the heist video. So yeah, it's going to be really cool. It's going to be kind of Indiana Jones, like really cool themed. Yeah. I got that treatment and then 2 other videos that we're working on right now.
Sweet. So what's the recording process been like for Mend?
Well, it's done. So the album's done.
Good.
The recording process was super fun. I'll let you speak to your process, but for me, it was it's very collaborative. For the most part, I won't talk shit, but we had a producer we'd originally worked with. I won't name his name, but just he and I just did not really see eye to eye on the vision. And that was the thing with Eviscerate. We worked with a new guy named Mike Somm, who was traditionally a death metal producer.
Okay, yeah.
And he was phenomenal. I mean, he just was so fun to work with. And he was like, he's by the books of what we're used to with Chris Crummett, where it's like in Pro Tools, we use the same language, where like we're using amps and real gear and real riffs and getting the takes. And like, that's what I've been doing for 15 years. It made sense.
Yeah.
And it was just a heavier take. This guy was an LA like producer. He works at a studio that like 4 or 5 other producers that have Grammys and like they're all pop and TikTok and like real produced stuff where it's like you have a kid from LA that's got 15 demos on his phone and then that guy turns them into tracks in like a little college dorm type room. Yeah. There's no amps, there's no nothing, it's all synthetic.
Oh yeah.
And we're like, okay, well, we stepped out of our comfort zone for Eviscerate. Let's step out of our comfort zone for Mend and we'll try it. And we just ended up banging our heads against the wall for like 3 straight weeks. This guy just wasted my fucking time. Like he tried to like day one, like put my song in the box and just gut it. Like not giving any of it a chance. And I go pretty thorough with my demo process, like vocals and tracks, everything, all the drums programmed, all the synths. And this guy, like day one, was like, yeah, we're gonna cut the second verse and we're gonna cut all these lyrics out, and yeah, that's not important. Let's just restructure this. And he would take a riff from the bridge, and then he'd be like, this is the chorus now, and then he would put it there and he'd build everything around it. It's like, bro, I didn't get here in my career being a dumbass and like not knowing what I'm doing. Like I have a vision that I want implemented. You're the engineer. Like you're supposed to just help me put this into reality. Right. No, I'm not paying you to like gut all my stuff and chop it up and make it something new. I was like, if you had some Grammys, maybe I could trust you on this, but you're the one guy in this room that doesn't have Grammys. Like, I don't really trust your opinion of your vision because you don't have like the merit to warrant that. Like if I was working with some crazy big name producer, maybe I'd trust them on gutting my song like that, but I didn't make Billboard top 10 being an idiot.
Yeah.
Like I haven't got this point in my career doing bullshit. So I just was like, we ended up like cutting our ties and getting our deposit back. Well, most of it anyway.
Oh man.
And so it was a rough like first month. Like January of this year was rough. It was rough. And I wish him the best. He's talented at what he does. It just wasn't the right fit for this band.
Right.
So we went with a guy named Stephen Hawks. It's from LA. Who we've worked with the dance before and some other projects, and he was phenomenal. He's a grinder just like us. Like he's willing to go 7 days a week, 14 hours a day, like in the box, get it done. And for me, the recording process was amazing. I mean, it was just like, he was like, okay, normally this would take 2 months. We have a month to do it. We're going to do it. 15-hour days, Andrew, get in here. We're going to do it. And so I would show up same time every day, and we would just go and we'd track guitars and we track bass, and then vocals was really pleasurable for me because I'd been working with this new vocal coach, and I did 10 straight days, 8-hour days of singing, which I'd never been able to pull off before. And then I finally at the very last, like I had 2 songs left, and he's like, well, this is the first time your voice sounds fatigued. Take a day off, come back in, do the other 2. But it was awesome because normally most guys will have to take a break every couple days, 2-3 days. For me, I was laying down top line, harmony, counterpoint, like all day. It was amazing. It just felt really enriching of an experience. And then you came in. How was your process?
Yeah, no, it was great. I mean, Andrew, like Andrew says,
we got the whole club going.
Deep bass just started. Yeah. Is this my soundtrack? No, Andrew, he does excellent demoing. He demos all the drums out, and he's good at it too. He honestly kept like 90% of just the drums that you did anyways, bounced some ideas back and forth. But he left a great template where I showed up and I just laid down, the drums that I've been practicing, working on, a couple ideas like, what do you think if we switch it up this way, or keep it this way, and just kicked it out in a couple of days. I think drums were the last thing that we tracked, right?
Yeah. And you did it in like no time. It was crazy. Matt's an incredible drummer, and he'll take like, he's being very kind, but like when I do demo drums, like template drums, I do try to keep them relatively simple because I know that he's going to put his flair on them and take them up to the next level. Like he's going to elevate every composition I have times 10 and take fills that I've programmed and make them way cooler than my brain can make as a rhythm organic, person. Right? Exactly. So there's like that song Kaleidoscope I mentioned, like I had this really funky drum pattern in there that like it sounded cool to me, and then you took it and you just ran with it.
That was fun because Stefan's a drummer too, the producer. And so we got in there and I told him straight up, like, we were like, we don't know what Andrew programmed here, but
hit here.
This is what I'm going to try, and we just went for it, and what turned out on the record, I think it sounds good.
Good.
Sounds good.
There's a stereotypical like Instagram, TikTok meme video that goes around where it's like you've seen it, I'm sure. Where it's where the guitar player tries to program the drums or something, and it's just something completely impossible. Yeah. I'm guilty of that for sure. I'm like, the hands do this, right? That totally makes sense. But he does a great job at like interpreting and putting it to the paper.
Right.
So,
that's awesome. Sweet. Well, you guys are on your last day of tour.
Yeah.
Stoked to wrap it up.
Very. Matt unfortunately wasn't able to join us for the tour. This is his first day of tour.
First day of
tour. All right, first and last day of tour.
This is his first day of tour. So Matt has a 1-year-old son at home who's awesome. Just adorable, and he's got a great full-time job back home. And so this tour just with timing wasn't fortunate with what he was doing back home. But we did want to like close it out with him and at least give him a couple of tracks on this set tonight to give him, you know, because he is the drummer, he always will be for the band, and so he was able to fly out for this show, and just we're gonna make it special for the fans that came and showed up today. So yeah, it's gonna be super fun. So for him, this is like a nice little vacation. He gets to come out and live his passion for a day. For me, I'm fucking exhausted.
You're like, I'm ready.
I show up to the bus and all you guys are so haggard. I'm like, hey, how's it going, guys?
You're all perky.
This guy's like, first day of school. No. We're all like, fuck, dude, I've been in
right. Get out of here, man.
Oh my gosh.
Holy shit. Yeah, I'm super grateful. I mean, this show's amazing. This is going to be amazing. I love playing here. I've played here a couple times, and it's a great way to close it out for sure. But it's been a long haul. We've done I've personally done 2 VIPs a day. On this one, I've done like a gym VIP that I've done for fitness.
Oh yeah, you do awesome. The fitness thing.
Super fun, great people. But I do that in the morning. So most of these guys are sleeping till noon or 1. I'm up at 9 a.m. I getting the items prepped, getting everything ready, do the workout, eat, do my own workout, then come to the show to sound check. Then I go and I do the coffee run for the coffee and pastries, come back second VIP. And then like tonight I'm doing a song with Wolf and Bear. So right after this, I got to go warm up, do that song, then go back to the bus, try to eat, warm up again, and then play.
Oh my goodness.
So I go right to bed. Keeps me out of trouble, which is great, but I go straight to bed after the show. So for me, it's like, it's a full-time gig and I love it. It's a labor of love, but grateful to be done today. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
Well, awesome. Thank you guys so much for your time.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming through, and we look forward to seeing you on stage.
Absolutely.
Everybody take care. Remember, we got Mend coming out here. And
December. Hopefully.
Ish. We pray.
Pray for us.
And we'll try to get some footage out there for the people and some pictures and stuff like that. So
awesome. Sounds good.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
See you.
Great to meet you.
Good to meet you too.
Absolutely. Great to meet you.